Hi, Ezra. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Just wondering if anybody else is going to get on.
Hi, Ezra.
Hey, Michelle, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. It's been a while.
Yes. So it's 6 o'clock now. We'll give a couple more minutes. Rohit emailed. He will not be on.
Okay.
And I am also watching email in case someone has an issue, Andrew or John. And I don't have any emails from them yet. And so we'll give a few minutes to see if anyone else comes on. No one picked up binders.
Okay.
And no one else contacted me. So Dustin and I we aren't sure who will come on or not.
Sure.
Okay,
Did Rohit say why?
No, all he said was, hi, Michelle, sorry, I cannot make it to meeting.
Okay. Yeah, so Ezra, no one responded to Michelle's email or accepted the invite or anything. It was there's Andrew.
There's Andrew, so we'll give John a couple minutes to see if he comes on.
I felt like it was more assumptive in the sense of here's the link, if you want to pick up binders, you can, but it's also online. So that's how I took it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have an invite on it, so.
Yeah.
Hi, Andrew.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, hanging in there with this the smoke we got here.
Yeah.
Getting tiresome, isn't it?
It's getting very tiresome, yeah.
At least the wind blowing, it's not quite as bad as it was.
Yeah.
It was over 2,200 this morning, the air quality index.
Yeah, it was bad.
On the EPA's website, but anything over 300 is considered off the charts. So it's pretty crazy.
22.
Yeah, I had our state regulator for the drinking water side emailed me today and said, how bad is it there? You guys, we had emails that Bishop is the worst place in the country to be right now.
Yeah, I did see an article in, I think it was SF Gate, that said Bishop had the worst air quality in the entire U.S.
Yep.
Today.
Yeah, it's just stuck right here because I just talked to a contractor in Gardnerville, and he said, "No, there's a little light breeze and clear blue skies."
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I actually went up to Lake Tahoe on Saturday night after it started getting bad, and it was actually pretty good up in South Lake Tahoe area. So that was nice.
So do we need a quorum or what's our contingency plan?
Good question. We're supposed to have a quorum.
Okay. It's a pretty short agenda, and I think the biggest item is obviously discussing on what interval we're going to meet. But what do you suggest? Michelle, do you have any thoughts? Do we want to reschedule? Do we want to go ahead with the meeting and just have Andrew and I and, obviously your input?
I don't believe that we can hold a meeting if we do not have a quorum.
Okay.
So, like I said, we're waiting for John. Andrew, Rohit was not able to attend, so we're waiting to see if John is going to join. If he does not, we do not have a quorum. I think then Dustin will, talk with maybe the city administrator and see what is next.
Well, I think, to be honest, this commission's advisory only. So I think that, two of you is better than none. And I don't think we need to make it drag on for a long time. But it would be, I think the whole purpose of the meeting is we've gone since March without a meeting. I've been on the, staff to the commission since its inception. And, and I see these lulls when we don't have rate studies, we don't have anything exciting to talk about. It's hard to have a quorum. And so that brought the question up is, do we continue with the commission? Do we only meet when we're talking about rates? Do we meet yearly, quarterly? I mean, I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts.
Andrew,
But-
do you want to jump
I
in?
guess I'm obviously pretty new. I think I've only had 2 or 3 meetings so far. But I guess for like my context, like outside of the rate studies, what are the other like main issues and main things that Water and Sewer Commission handles and addresses? Is that something that kind of has ebbs and flows as well, or is it primarily the rate study?
It's not, I mean, obviously primarily the driving force behind forming the commission was a rate study at the time. And, and council feeling like that, other than just staff should be involved with figuring out these. And we actually had kind of a citizens advisory group it was like 2004, I believe, to help set rates because we hadn't done one in years. But it drove that. It's, obviously always the ratepayers and the citizens that you all are help kind of, a sounding board of projects and of things that we do. Some of them, none of us really, you just have to do what you're doing. But there's also, things that, hey, should we do this? Should we not? What do you guys think? I think that's part of the commission's, responsibilities. So have it, if that's what you want to call it, is helping guide that. And then also, it is, a little bit of the idea of talking about how to conserve water. And that came up in 2015. And then the drought somewhat ended, or maybe it just was a little lull in the drought that we've had the past 3 years. But then all of a sudden drought stuff came up, and what do you guys think? What's good ideas out there? So there's some purpose. There is definitely some purpose for it, but honestly, every other month, is it too much sometimes? I don't know. That's what that's what I guess we're asking.
I think we might have brought this up maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And I know I chatted with Jim Ellis a bit about it when he was more active in the mayor. I wish we had more utility, because you have a panel, a really engaged panel for the most part, that want to do more. And we realize, our scope is so limited. So if we're going to have the current scope of just giving inputs on the rates and not necessarily even regarding who the rates apply to, right? As we saw in the case of who got discounts and who didn't. I think, yeah, the current interval is too great for the current scope. If we are going to increase the scope, then, having more frequency of meeting is useful. But as it currently stands, I would suggest, an annual meeting, preferably in January or October, a month that's kind of more quiet at the beginning, and just kind of check in and hear about the different like area governments and what the meetings have concluded and what's going on, and then meet more frequently during rate years. And but even then, I feel like you guys have such a handle, and you and Dave formally and Michelle have really formed my opinion about how I perceive water locally. Where initially I was all gung ho about like we need to conserve, and then it occurred to me that whatever we don't use goes down to the city of LA. So environmentally, there's a utility to using it locally. So for what it's worth, that's my 2 cents.
I appreciate it. Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much hits the nail on the head with what I'm thinking as well. If the current scope is indeed focused around rate studies, then yeah, I don't think we need to meet as frequently as we are. But yeah, I mean, ideally, like if we did have more utility or more things that we could, offer advice or help on, that would be something I would be interested in. But unless that's the case, then I don't think we need to meet more frequently than, like as was suggested, once a year, and then more frequently when we have a rate study going on.
And honestly, I do appreciate what you said about what would help out with different things. And I think that yearly probably can work on off years of rate studies, but what do you guys think about at least, monthly emails or some kind of update with you all, just kind of where we're at and what we're doing? Because there's a lot of pretty big things happening with the wastewater side for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I, since we're not really formal right now, we're not in a quorum, with the JPA, with the Bishop Area Wastewater Authority has been formed now, which, is a good thing, because it's kind of funny when I start looking at, I know in the 70s, it was something that was chosen by a county consultant that the bishop, there should be one wastewater agency. And then in the 90s, in the housing, now I'm drawing a blank. What did I say? What Elaine does, the update to the housing and all that. That was one of the big, the general plan update. I'm sorry. That was a big thing in there in the 90s. And then every decade since then is, why is there 2 wastewater agencies in the city, especially when they're right next door to each other?
Right.
So I think we're working towards that. And, we're starting small. We're not going to jump off the deep. There's not going to be one. We or they are not going to take over the wastewater, but the discharge of wastewater is going to be done jointly now as the Bishop Wastewater Authority. Yeah. And the state is quite pleased by that. We're still not sure if they're pleased about what's happening, or that they're going to have one permit to regulate now. Make their lives easier, no doubt.
So would Lahontan then point their finger jointly if there's some type of, discharge that needs a
violations or
cleanup and abatement order?
Yeah. So now, currently it's going to take Lahontan, even though they push for things, they work maybe a little bit faster than LADWP, but they now, once we're formed, they need to create a new discharge permit for the single agent for the Bishop Wastewater Authority. And then, yes, you're correct. There won't be any pointing fingers anymore. It's going to be, you guys are in violation. Yeah, as the JCAS from the state, like Scott BAWA, Bishop Area Wastewater Authority. So we're well on our way with that. We actually are creating a budget that by law has to be created by October 23rd, which is going to be a very small budget.
Okay.
We're looking at a new irrigation system, which will be a sprinkler where we can irrigate the entire area with a sprinkler. Like I've told you guys in the past, pumps and numerous improvements, but we were kind of budgeting for design, environmental design and all that. We've found out in a meeting last week that NRCS, the National Resource Conservation Services, they have money. I don't want to say unending, but a lot of money to help pay for all this. Right. So our budget just went way down again. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at probably the magnitude of a shared budget, which probably won't be spent the first year, but less than $100,000, which I think is a big deal. We need
Beautiful.
to save our money because we're gonna buy 250-ish some odd acres, no, 350 from DWP. They have agreed in principle to sell that property to increase, which is a huge deal. But we haven't arrived at a price on that or anything. Obviously it'll probably be somewhere high and then we'll come back somewhere low and hopefully meet in the middle. But so we'll spend a lot of money there, but I think it's important to keep you guys, if we're not going to meet, if we're going to meet annually, except for on rate years, then maybe we need to, I will figure out a way to keep everybody apprised of what's going on out there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. My concern is if we only have an annual meeting, then it's kind of hard to have like an engaged commission if we're only having contact once a year. So I definitely like the idea of being like having email updates if we do switch to that schedule. And further, like, is there opportunity, like if we need to have like an ad hoc meeting, like due to something that comes up, is that an option as well?
I think absolutely. I mean, I see that the city, Ron Phillips checked in. He's here now. I don't see any issue with that. Ron, do you? So yeah, we could definitely do that.
I think that would work well.
Yeah, so maybe it's the kind of thing where we get email updates, and then we can call ad hoc meetings as necessary. That's something we want to discuss more in person.
And Dustin, is there the opportunity to participate in these, area government meetings that relate to the Water Commission?
Absolutely. We're going to have, I kind of see this not quite on the scale of the Owens Valley Groundwater Authority, but still, and I always kind of makes me happy to see that, those Owens Valley Groundwater Authority meetings have, 150 participants at their meetings, and those are not participants, but people listening in and commenting and stuff. And so, yeah, I think that's still, it's really important, especially now that we're going to be talking about the whole Bishop area.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. You guys, I'm sure if you'd like to be, you don't have to participate, but we can send out the agendas and stuff to you for those meetings.
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be great.
If something looks like interesting to you, then right now it's just been housekeeping, trying to get started. But as time goes on, there's going to be some big decisions that are made. And I think too, also, is we have time. We're a ways away from rate studies, but we need to look at it as, do we, the commission is 5 or 4 or 5 or however we're, right now it's 4, but do we want to invite people to be involved with those rate studies as in business owners, and that maybe they don't want to commit to being on a commission that's all the time, and maybe we'll get more interest in the commission if it doesn't meet as often. But I know in 2004 when we did the rate study and we had the Citizens Advisory Committee, we had, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was either 11 or 13, not only just they're ratepayers, but they're businesses and citizens. And they got really involved with it because it was just so kind of a one-time commitment. So maybe we want to invite those people or make it open to see if we get a few more people to participate. And you're right, Esther, that we do kind of have a handle on it now. In 2004, we were broke and rates were going to go up substantially, doubling or more. And now we've kind of been able to keep it to $1 in small increments.
Sure.
So it isn't such an exciting thing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And Michelle, can you give us a quick update on what COVID protocols you guys have been implementing? I've been curious what restaurants are doing to, how rates have changed, how the city's given them some type of grace during this period, and how they're changing their seating arrangements and whatnot.
Currently, everyone is still paying water and sewer, but we have modified them to how many seats that they have outside, if they do have seats set up outside. If a business is closed, then they are paying the minimum of 1 EDU, which is $71. And I will periodically contact the businesses, or they contact me, and I will credit their accounts as needed.
Yeah.
And so I haven't really had too many issues. You know, there'll be a couple of them that will get on the shut-off list that I still do send out, but they all seem to pay.
That's great. And are you
Yeah.
finding that the pandemic has really impacted local businesses, or that the desire for people from like metropolitan areas to get out is enough to kind of keep the local economy afloat?
I would say business, from the calls I get, business is down.
Business
You
is-
know, hotels are down, the restaurants are down. I think hopefully they're, you know, staying afloat with their takeout that they do. Today I had one salon call, but then luckily an hour later got a call from someone who's moving into the salon to do a vintage store, and so that was nice to hear.
Mhm.
So
Beautiful.
Yeah, Michelle was busy for a lot of April trying to balance it, because we decided that when they were closed, we actually lowered them down to the limit, or the lowest, the $71 one at EDU. But then as they started opening up and outdoors and you know, and it was hard because some of them contacted you, some didn't contact you, but she did a good job because we went backwards and gave them credits, and we worked as hard as we could, because we don't, I mean, who wants them to close because of the water and sewer bill
Right.
because of COVID? So it's worked out well, and actually it's gone for all the business, and it hasn't been so substantial that it's killed the water and sewer funds, for sure. So it's been kind of nice to see it go. I think the best part about it's been is the outdoor dining that's been created because of it, that's permanent. And then everybody always goes, we always wanted to do it. This made us do it finally.
Well, does anyone have any other, I mean, I know I'm not leading this meeting at all. I don't even think we formally called it to order. But I don't have any further questions, and I feel sufficiently up to date. Andrew, Michelle, I mean, if you guys have anything to say, by all means.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I guess just like is now when we're deciding on the cadence of these meetings moving forward, or is there a next step there that you'll get back to us on, or how do we proceed there?
Believe that we will have to, because it's kind of by resolution and ordinance, the meeting dates and times and all that. So we would need to formally do it that way, go through that process. I don't see it being an obstacle. If yearly meetings, you know, we don't have to put in the monthly updates to you all, you know, that doesn't have to be part of it. But if that's the direction that we want to go, I think that we can just move forward with that.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, as long as we do get monthly updates and
Yeah.
notice of like other meetings that would be, you know, useful for us to attend. And
Yeah, definitely. And I do want to add before I mean, I don't want to all of a sudden just in the, so the North Sierra Highway water line that's going to go out the bike path and then down North Sierra Highway to the fairgrounds. We are getting closer to being able to do that, kind of mostly waiting on LADWP to get us our easements for it, but it's on their radar now for real. And I think Adam Perez, the new district aqueduct manager, is in favor of the project. So it'll just be a matter of time, but that'll be another big, you know, somewhere around $600,000 expense for that project. But definitely want to let you know that if we only meet yearly, I want you to know the big projects that are on the books right now.
Well, that's good news.
And I also wanted to, you know, it's an interesting fact that I just kind of wanted to bring up is, you know, I was starting to, I'm anxious and I stay awake at night worrying about things, and our water use is just through the roof this summer. And so, you start thinking, I got two major creek crossings. Are we leaking? Are we something going wrong? But then after talking with everybody else in the valley, including Mammoth, who's on meters, it's normal right now. Everybody's at home. Everybody has a garden. Everybody has kids out in the front yard with the hose running nonstop playing, which is all great. It's just part of the deal. But it's when you see monthly numbers, and I'll report them to you, they're 1.6 is a normal summer month, 1.6 million gallons a day. We're around 2.2 million a day. And thank goodness we have lots of water, right? And things are working out. And then on the opposite spectrum, the wastewater treatment plant flows are lower than they've ever been. And that's very indicative of your question, Esther, is the motels and the businesses are definitely feeling the effects of COVID.
Yeah.
We're usually running 600 to 700,000 gallons a day, and now we're barely making 400,000 gallons a day. So it's pretty interesting right now what's changed. Just being at home, you would think being in the city, we wouldn't change a whole lot, but it's also good justification to our rates to what the motels and the restaurants do pay normally, that they are a large user of water.
Yeah.
So I guess also we need to decide then if we're going to yearly, and Esther and Andrew, you guys get to call the shots. When is that? I know we talked about January. So is that this coming January we want to have our first one, or what do you all think?
I think it would be a good time. The holidays are over. We'd like to hear what movements happened over, October through January. It kind of starts off the year. And then after that, we will just anticipate monthly emails and follow up. Can we vote electronically if we decide if there's anything that needs to be voted on, where we just say, okay, we will have an electronic forum and just you pose whatever question and then we vote that way?
I believe so. Council has had to
ground.
have several special meetings and definitely can have votes over a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, and then again, good point. It's yearly meetings, but special meetings can be called too if they need to be.
Great.
Well, I'm trying to think. I don't think I have anything else to report to you at the moment. But if you guys have any questions or anything, Ron, anything on your end?
No, we appreciate your participation for sure.
And Andrew, I'm going to hold you to it when we get to the next rate study. You were going to help me with numbers.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I would love to.
Yeah, I always wondered if this commission could run out of steam with the way it was formed. And like I said, things were such chaos 15 years ago with trying to set rates that, you wondered where it would go. But we definitely appreciate both of you and John and Rohit and everybody. And I guess we have a single application to fill the vacant position. I guess we can offer that position. I don't know, and tell him the basis of how we're going to meet and stuff, and see if he still is interested, or she. I can't remember what it is, who it is.
I think it says on hold online. So
It does.
if we want more candidates, maybe circulate it and give it another 2-week vacancy, and then we can evaluate hopefully more than one candidate.
I like your thinking, and it's also with the change of meeting frequency and stuff, it may generate more interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Destin, isn't the person who has an application in is also running for our treasurer?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So,
So they may
don't
not be
really-
able to do it anyways.
Yeah, we don't, if that happens, then we don't have anyone.
Yeah, I think that I will bring it to council on Monday night and suggest that we re-advertise and then with the new meeting times and stuff and see what that brings.
And can we have maybe just an informal email with general bios and then we can electronically offer input just on people that might bring a broader spectrum to the commission?
I don't see why not. I mean, obviously, we're going to be kind of like we are, a sounding board, and then council will make a decision. So I can definitely check with Dean Pucci to the city attorney and make sure that's legal.
Right.
Will you write that down, Michelle, so I get it right, please? We don't have a commissioner, we don't have John to tell us where to go next. So with that, I guess, are we at a point where we go ahead and adjourn the meeting unless anybody has anything else?
My hand.
All right. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be in
you.
touch.
Great.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Great. Good
Thanks,
evening, everybody.
Bye.